I want to shift to free agency now. So we talked about Christian Kirksey a little bit. We talked about Devin Funchess a little bit. We talked about Rick Wagner a little bit. I want to get your thoughts on these guys. Personally, I think that Kirksey is an upgrade. He may not be a big time upgrade over Blake Martinez, but I think he's an upgrade. There was this video floating around. I would say about 2 months ago. I was on YouTube. I saw this video where it said Blake Martinez is the most overrated player in the NFL, and it was this guy breaking down his film of just some bad plays that Blake Martinez, made, him not being in the right holes and things of that nature. Blake Martinez was he stuffed the stat sheet as far as tackles. Tackles are kind of a skewed stat at times. Football, I've always said football is more than just statistics. And Blake Martinez hustles. He's in the right spot at times, but I just think that there's not a whole lot of versatility there. Kersey provides some versatility for us. And I look at Devin Funchess. Not the most sexy signing, I would say. He's 26 years old, so he still has, time to develop into something really good. He had a pretty solid season in 2017, going for 840 yards and 8 touchdowns with the Carolina Panthers. I do think that Aaron Rodgers is the type of quarterback to make a guy like Devin Funchess look good. And the one thing that Devin Funchess does pretty good that we struggle with at times is contested catches. Sometimes Aaron Rodgers would roll outside the pocket last year. He would throw into very tight windows, and our wide receivers just couldn't make the play. They would drop the ball. I do think that Devin Funchess can contribute in the red zone, and he's very good at those jump balls and contested catches. And let's be real, we just need someone else besides Devontae Adams to make plays. We hope Marquez Valdes-Scantling can be that guy. And I look at Rick Wagner. Personally, I think that he's solid. He's average. He's nothing special. I think that people are kind of overblowing, the loss of Bulaga. I think Bulaga's a great player, no doubt. But I think that Rick Wagner's steady. He only allowed 3 sacks last year. So while he's not Bulaga, he's a steady, cheap replacement, at least for now. So what are your thoughts on the big key free agent signings?
Well, I think Kirksey is all going to depend on if he's healthy or not. I think that's going to make or break it. I think he can be a good player, but he's just had injury issues. So if he can stay healthy, I think it's definitely an upgrade. Wagner, for me, is, again, I think he's a Band-Aid to, or a stopgap to the next right tackle that we wind up drafting. Again, I think he's a downgrade from Bulaga, but that doesn't mean that, he's not going to be able to do a serviceable job. And then with Funchess, the guy has had issues with drops. I mean, a lot of people point to, Cam Newton not being the most accurate quarterback, and that's fine. I think it's just a matter of, I wasn't excited when we brought Jimmy Graham in because they kind of said almost the exact same things that you're saying about, he's going to be a red zone target and a deep threat and blah, 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 blah. And that never panned out. And I think just, what we've seen from Devin Funchess, obviously he was injured last year and played, for 5 seconds for the Colts. But, I mean, it's just one of those guys that he is on a prove-it deal. It's a cheap deal. Come in, prove that you can play, and that's it. And I think, MVS, this is his last shot. And I think EQ, missing last season, has another year because he only played his rookie season and that was it. But, EQ is another guy who's going to need to step up, and obviously Lazard. I think, though, when you're looking at our free agency, it obviously definitely is less appealing than it was last year. But I think if we could get Kirksey out of it and we get a solid guy who can cover over the middle, then I will be happy. Even if Wagner just turns out to be average and whether Funchess doesn't do anything. If we can get Kirksey, I'll be a happy guy.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham was never quite the same after he left Drew Brees and Sean Payton. I just don't know what has been wrong with him. You can kind of point to age as far as him being Green Bay. Maybe not the fastest player in the world nowadays, has declined with age. But in Seattle, he just really didn't fit in with their offense. I don't know what's going on with him. It just seems like every tight end we brought in the last couple of years, outside Jamarco Finley, we brought in Martellus Bennett. We brought in, what's the other guy's name? Jared Cook. Yeah, Jared Cook, Bennett. Just hasn't really worked out. So, but again, I do think that Devin Funchess has some potential. I really do. I think that he's a sleeper pickup. He's 26 years old. He's not at a later stage in his career. He can only go up, in my opinion. So, I mean, I like that pick. I like that pickup, I should say. I really do. I think that he's going to give us a guy that can get some contested catches. And, again, we just need another wide receiver besides Devontae Adams. This could be his breakout year. We shall see. I do agree that MVS, it's a make-or-break year for MVS. Let me get your thoughts on MVS. Obviously was a little bit inconsistent this year. I could tell the coaches kind of did not trust him. as the season went on, they just kind of stopped calling plays for him. I mean, in the playoffs, he just virtually did nothing. It was Devontae Adams, and pretty much no one else did anything really in the playoffs. Jimmy Graham had that one nice catch, but I think that MVS has talent. He's got the size, he's got the speed. It's more so the mental game with MVS, as far as the drops go, just being on the same page with Aaron Rodgers and a new offense. But we look at Devontae Adams, a couple years ago. Devontae Adams in his sophomore season kind of took a step back. A lot of people were, dogging on Devontae Adams, saying that he's not going to pan out. MVS kind of in a similar situation where his sophomore season wasn't as good as you would have thought. Maybe he breaks out this year. So, what are your thoughts on MVS? Do you think that he's going to have a good season? Honestly, I think that he's the X factor for our offense because outside of Devontae Adams, I mean, and deep threat, and as far as, beating teams vertically, that's really not his specialty. He can do it, but MVS is our true deep threat as far as our offense goes. What are your thoughts on MVS?
Yeah, he's the only guy who's the speedy wide receiver on our team right now. Even guys like that we brought in from like the CFL, like Bagleton, he's a possession guy. He's the guy who's just going to move the chains, and he's going to be a consistent guy if he makes the team. And that's what he really is for. I mean, Devin Funchess is not the fastest guy. It literally comes down to MVS. And, he proved that in the Broncos touchdown that he had last season. And I think that if he doesn't step up, that's going to definitely be a major, major problem because he's really kind of the only guy who has that skill set on our team right now. So, yeah, I think him taking a step will definitely unlock a lot more of that playbook and a lot more looks because Rodgers has expressed confidence in him. He did at his press conference last week or 2 weeks ago. And, I think it's just a matter of he just needs to prove it. I mean, like, you look at a guy who's a fan favorite. Oh, my God, I'm totally blanking on his name right now. Yep, totally lost it. The guy from the Bengals that we picked up. Nope.
Yeah.
Literally the only white wide receiver we have. And I cannot
is it Kumaro?
Kumaro.
Yeah, Kumaro. Yeah, Jake Kumaro. I like him. Yeah, he's good.
Oh, yeah, but Kumaro's another guy. He's a possession guy. I actually see Bagleton probably beating him out for a roster spot. I know Rodgers likes him a lot, but he's a possession guy, and I like Kumaro. But yeah, I mean, like, Kumaro is nothing like, MVS and what the skill set that he brings. And it's going to be a shame if, that kind of goes to waste. But like you said, like it's a make or break year for him.
Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.